Welcome to Ditch Digger CEO today. We've got an exciting episode ahead. We've got an amazing person, Sadie Lincoln, who we're interviewing about her rags to riches story and her only in America story. Sadie, welcome today to Ditch Digger CEO. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Sadie, we just love interviewing people like you. You looked into your history and your amazing story. So we want to educate people on only in America, rags to riches stories, people that have had an idea and executed an idea and scaled it. And you've done an amazing job of it. So we can't wait to get into this stuff with you.
Right.
Sadie, you're out in Oregon, right?
Yep, Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful area out there. Been there a few times.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Now, tell us about yourself. You had family, married, family, daughter, a couple of kids. How many kids?
Right. I have two kids, two big kids, 17 and 19-year-olds. And I've been married for over 20 years. And and Chris is my husband. He's also the co-founder of barre3. So we sort of have done everything together. He's my partner in everything. And here in Portland, Oregon, I have 3 rescue dogs. I'm officially a dog person.
What kind of rescue dog? What kind of dogs are they?
2 of them are from Mexico. One of them's a Doberman Chihuahua mix, and the other one is a pit Chihuahua situation. And then my third is she's like a terrier mix. She's from Hawaii. She was left in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's the little one. She's probably the toughest of them all, huh?
Yeah. And she's my favorite.
Girl,
I play favorite.
Don't say that out loud.
I do all the time. We're used to it.
Okay, so Sadie, tell us about how you and husband came up with this idea, this business. I mean, were you in the business before, and how did it come about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in the business of fitness before. Really, my whole starting in college, grad school, right out of grad school, fitness was a passion of mine, and I landed a job with a company called 24 Hour Fitness. And I was there for a little over a decade and really learned the business of gyms, fitness gyms, specifically, and kind of these big box concepts that are all about membership dues, pretty lower dues every month, getting tapped. And the goal there was just to get as many members as you could for every location. And very, very successful, lucrative business model. We grew. While I was there, I think we started with around 25 gyms. There's an acquisition that happened right when I started that jumped us up. And then by the time I left, 10 years later, we had 430 globally. And I was on different teams throughout my career, from operations and acquisitions to sales and marketing. I really loved branding and kind of learning about the essence of a company and how to protect that. But I also scaled group exercise. That's actually when I started there. That was the job I had, was to teach and scale group exercise amongst many gyms. So yeah, that was my background. And then my husband came along. He ended up working about 5 of those years I was there, and we were given a project by the founder and CEO Mark Mastrov to start a small kind of what was going to be a franchise concept. And so the 2 of us, soup to nuts, put this thing together. And it was an amazing opportunity, obviously, to learn that we could work together really well, but also just to learn how to start a business. And while we were doing that, parallel pathing, we were both wondering, hey, maybe we should leave and do our own thing and solve our own problem that we see in fitness. And that eventually led us to starting barre3 together.
How many years ago was that?
That was like 16 years ago. Yeah, we're celebrating our 15-year anniversary this month, actually, here in Portland. Our first studio opened in August of 2008 at the height of the global financial crisis, when everybody said, don't do it. And for us, it was the best time ever to do it. So yeah, it's been 15 years.
That's awesome. And so you worked at this company, and then you just kind of left and started. You knew you had a good idea to solve a problem that others hadn't solved before. Tell us about the problem.
Well, fundamentally, the gym business model supports getting as many members as you can. And frankly, if all those members showed up every day, you wouldn't have room for them in the gym. So the business model, I mean, this is the truth, is all about like people paying but not coming. So fundamentally, I think that sets up kind of a harder culture to deliver on service, because the model doesn't really honestly support that, right? Yep. You want people to come back, 4 or 5 times a week. A different model is needed. And so there was that. The other thing that I personally was experiencing was a lot of shame in my body, because the predominant way we sold fitness was around a physical ideal, and that you could come and to the gym and work out and take supplements and get with, a trainer or whatever. And ultimately the big like thing that sold was lose weight and get ripped and toned, right? So that you were this picture of success. And I loved that idea because I'm a super achiever. I'm a high performer, big achiever. So that idea really like hooked me. But what I found was that motivation actually made me feel like bad about myself. When I exercised, it became a chore. It became a fight with my body to change it, versus something that inherently I used to have joy in, moving and group exercise. So I really went through this inner quiet, nobody knew shame story about my body image issues, eating disorder, and then pain. I had chronic pain in my body, but I was, I had this idea in my head, no, you have to go hard or it's not going to work. Like, don't, no pain, no gain was the big slogan back then. So many stupid sayings, your sweat is your fat crying. Like, I just remember these ridiculous, quotes that we put out in the industry. It was about pain, and shame. And, I believe fitness is good. I think the fitness industry is good. I think everybody needs fitness. I believe in fitness. Where I think both my husband and I realized we weren't doing it right is we weren't treating people with the right motivation. I think the motivations are what's broken, and people's relationship with why they're exercising. That's the part that I wanted to tackle. What if we all exercised to be honest and present in our bodies, as a practice of being honest and present in our bodies, versus fighting with our body to get somewhere in the future? What would happen, right? And I realized I also loved boutique fitness, where it was all about service and connection, and you want the people to come back every day, because it's not necessarily, it's just a different membership model. It's premium, it's higher, you're paying more. And I thought that would be more conducive to solving this psychological problem, and to kind of shift the framing of fitness. And that's what we did. And from day one, it's been a huge success. It's really resonating.
Wow. And where's the name come from?
Well, we knew we wanted the ballet bar. I love it as a prop to support the body. I love that it wraps around in a circle and kind of pulls everyone shoulder to shoulder. So I knew bar was going to be a hot niche in the fitness market. So there was a business perspective there. I wanted that in the name. But really what our whole business is around is the number 3. It's a symbol of balance, like a triangle. And that's something Chris and I really wanted to work towards, is body balance, life balance, really managing our energy proportionate to what matters most to us. That is our definition of balance. To the consumer, we combine cardio, strength, and mindfulness, those 3 things all in one.
Cardio, strength, and mindfulness?
Yes. And the mindfulness is the important ingredient, because that's the ingredient of building your cardio endurance in the moment in a mindful way that's about the present moment. Building your strength to feel the burn, that empowered feeling of getting stronger in the present moment, versus trying to get ripped for bikini season. You know, we infused mindfulness into traditional fitness technique.
Cool. That's amazing. Okay, now tell us how you started then. And was this is not stores? Is this a stores? I mean, this is like retail fronts.
Yes. Right? Yeah, boutique studios. Yeah, 1 to 2 studio rooms, exercise rooms, and then a lobby. And one thing we added right from the beginning was a little play lounge area for little kids, so moms and dads could bring their little baby and we take care of them for an hour while they worked out. We had a like 2.5 and 4-year-old when we opened our first studio, so that was really present of mind. And to this day, almost every studio has that.
Oh yeah, and that's got to be key. I mean, think about it. I don't know many that do that, but boy, what a great idea! I mean, it makes it so much easier for a mother to come, a father to come, and bring their kid and have a good time for a little while, right?
Yeah, and it's also one of the reasons. You know, it's like most entrepreneurs, we just kept scratching our own itch. And when you're a new parent, it's lonely and confusing, and it was so joyful for me to see like the mom kind of fighting the baby blues, coming in with her newborn, putting it in the play area, getting her workout in, and then coming out and meeting other moms and having that connection. And then they'd all go to the park together, or they go get ice cream, or, I think, we always talk about that those moments are just as healthy as the actual exercise, fighting lonely in the lobby and connecting together. And I love kind of transition points in people's lives, because I think that's the most rich time to learn about yourself, and being a new mom is certainly one of those moments.
Cool. Okay, so your first gym was where?
Here in Portland, Oregon, in what's called the Pearl District.
Okay, and then and then did you from the very beginning really believe you're building a franchisable model, or was it like So I think it's really cool. Not many people go into it like that.
Right.
Often I see businesses. I was talking to a woman last night actually about a bunch of subjects, business wise and entrepreneurially, and she mentioned the name of her business. It's a really cool name, and she told me what they do, and it's just a very successful little business in their hometown that they run. And if you heard it, you say definitely duplicatable, right? But they've never really thought about it. They were told that recently more often, but for the 10 years they've been running it, they'd never thought of it. I've seen a mix, right? I've seen a good friend of mine. Her name is Shelly Sun. Do you know Shelly Sun?
Mm-mm.
She's one of the fastest growing women franchisors, supposedly in the country. Her company is called Bright Star. We interviewed her years ago. She's like a little sister to me. I was in a business forum with her when her business was very small. I think she's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 550 or 600 franchisees now. Bright Star does in-home senior care.
Oh, cool.
And she advertises on national TV and all that kind of. Anyway, great story. But she, like you, from the very beginning, knew that she was a franchise, and she built one store, and then the next one was a franchise.
Yeah.
And she's now for the first time, actually, Sadie, it's kind of wild, but the first time she's buying some back now. She's buying 10 at a time, buying them back now. So it's really, really cool story. But yours, just somewhere of that. That's pretty amazing that you just thought right from the beginning, we're going to build the model, and then we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to franchise it. So do you have one company store then today, or how many do you have?
We have 6 that we own. Yep. And about, I think, 164 franchise. They're all owned and operated by women to date, which we're proud of. Kind of cool. Yeah, I think back to that I do think that is an ingredient of success. Is Chris and I knew we were going to be franchisors. That is really different than being an entrepreneur. It really is. When I talk to a lot of people that are just starting out that have an amazing business concept, and then they decide they want to grow it. And I always remind them, once you start franchising, that becomes your job. Mm-hmm. Not running your store or your concept or your dream, solving your problem. It really does take, a lot of skill and effort and understanding around all the franchise law and, what it really takes. And when you're franchising, it's all about scale. Like, just to give you an understanding of that, my 6 studios are basically apples to apples revenue with what we get from the royalties of 160 or 100, probably 120 studios. So like, it's that you get a little bit from all the franchises. So you really want to have scale.
Yes. And it feels to me like it's definitely entrepreneurial to start it, to get it going. But like you're saying, as a franchisee, there's got to be a little less creativity because they've got to be consistent after you've built that model. What do you do? What do you do for them to, let's say a franchisee does figure out an itch, right, or a problem, and a solution maybe for a problem within their customer base. Do you guys continually improve with communication, or how does that work?
Oh yeah, that's a huge part. One of our core values is love of learning. It is really around growth mindset. And another thing I saw as a problem in the fitness industry is a very fixed mindset. Like you have like an exercise guru with the plan, that fixed plan that's the method, right? Or the ancient technique that will always solve your fitness problems, and very rigid and confident, so it sells. But what I've found, what we're more attached to is evolving based on science, and more importantly, what we're noticing is working with our client base to balance their bodies and also have them feel empowered within themselves. Both those things.
So what are your core values then? Love of learning,
practice authenticity. So that's about being present, practicing being authentic versus trying to be something else. Stronger together, which is this idea of collective wisdom versus the guru. Everybody matters, all together. Love of learning, make it happen, which is our real entrepreneurial kind of energy, and being all of our franchisees are make it happen kind of people that wanted to start something and do it and take initiative.
Seldom say no, right? I mean, I was away in Aspen at probably a 4-star hotel compared to the 5 stars there that we stayed at, and the service was incredible. They would not say no. They would not say no, right? Yes, yeah, we can do that, or yes, we can do that, but we're gonna have to do this. I mean, they would just never say no. And we walked away thinking, oh my gosh, I would stay at that 4-star all day long before a 5-star, because they were amazing. That they would just want to serve you at every turn. It's really cool. But yeah, kind of the thing, right? If you can really exude that value, right? To make it happen, always make it happen, right? Yep. Think of the customer satisfaction, right, that you produce.
Yeah, our other value, the last one I just remembered when you said that, is give generously. And that's that idea of always giving of ourselves as team members generously to our communities. And yeah, even when we opened our doors 15 years ago, I was teaching 19 classes a week because I was the only one that knew my own method that I was evolving. And Chris was, we were like classic, like washing windows, holding babies in childcare. We're checking people in, exhausted. We had 2 little kids at home. And I was so tired, but that's how that value kind of got inside me. As I was driving or walking to work, I would say it over and over in my head: give generously, give generously, give generously.
I love it.
So when I opened the door, I was, filled with that kind of essence of like, that's my job, is to really give generously. And it's really stuck, because those in-between moments really do matter even more than when we're teaching a class.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen over and over the most successful businesses are the champions of serving, right? Serving their customers better than anybody else, right? And that mindset, give generously. I mean, as well as make it happen. I mean, you're going to be doing that every day. It's really cool. All right, and so when you okay, so your first 6 stores, or your 6 stores today, are they all around Portland?
Yep, and one in the West Village in Manhattan.
Okay. And then the other ones, the other 164, are they all over the country, or are they mostly?
They're all over the country. Yeah. We're really, truly just scattered all over. Yep. And different kinds of markets. We're in suburban markets, smaller kind of urban markets. We're really all different environments. We're proving it out.
Do you have to have a certain demographic as far as population? Tell us about kind of the demographics that you look for a franchisee. If they say, hey, Sadie, I want to be on the team. I want to, own my own store. what do you look for? What's a few of the top things that you look for, let's say?
It's a combination of like household income, education, density of population for sure. And then kind of more of the softer things like health-minded. Sometimes we'll tell owners like what kind of, like when they're picking their location, like where do you want to go? Because our owners are our best clients too. They resonate with the product. Almost all of them started as a client, maybe became an instructor. So they already know like what kind of vibe they want. It is a premium experience. So like having the studio near a Whole Foods, for example, is really nice, you know, and where you would want to park and bring your baby in. You know, some of those more kind of intuitive metrics we use, as well as, you know, figuring out the territories that's more data-based.
Right. And you know, population-wise, is it 100,000 people within X miles? Anything? I mean,
I'm not sure.
It's got to be. Your radius probably isn't much more than 5 miles, or 10 miles. What would it be?
I totally should know that. I have no idea.
I wonder what. Yeah,
it's not. I know that it's not necessarily by miles. It's more about density and the people in that area. We don't do it strictly by zip code, for example. We have a mapping software and a company that helps us with all that.
Nice. Tell us about, I mean, on an annual basis, what do you do to keep your franchisees like educated, up to date? I mean, listening to them to see if there's anything new out there you should be considering. What does that look like?
Well, we have a whole system and an incredible team dedicated to this. A lot of it, let's see, where should I start? A lot of it is digital based. So we have an online learning hub. And that is just so much rich content there. Everything from like our core values to like the latest technique for putting the new window clings up on the window. Operations, marketing, leadership, brand, and then our instructor training and continuing education is all on there. So for every level of any employee, whether you're a deep cleaner in our studio all the way up to a studio owner or founder and CEO, you'll have different levels of access on this hub. And we have many people working on it. We've had it for a long time. I think we've had it since 2011. So really honed that process. And then within that process, we have a way of our teams all across the country contributing. So they'll send us classes that they videoed, for example, and if we like it, we'll share it out with the whole team, or they'll evolve a move in a way that's really mindful and thoughtful, and we'll send that out to the team. We have a full-time person that just works on music, and that person gathers music ideas from the team all across the country. So we have really strict licensing, so it's hard to find good songs, but when we do, we're excited about it. So there's really this like open kind of two-way learning that happens. Mm-hmm. I think another big thing to mention that's very important is our franchise advisory council. It's peer selected. So we have a board of franchisees who represent all of the franchisees who we meet with regularly. They stand up when they're upset about something and generate, conversation with us around that. They also will kind of test things with them and test things out before they really have a say in how we communicate, how we evolve, how we innovate. It's a coveted position. They're really proud of it. It's a great way for them to be leaders. It's just one of the ways we listen to our franchisees. We send out surveys a lot. We have an annual summit where we all come together. We have what we roundtables where we go out into the field and different thought leaders within our headquarters will literally sit around tables with them and do experience sharing and training. And then lastly, we do kind of like you mentioned business forum. I've been a part of EO, Entrepreneur Organization. YPO is a big one. I'm now part of Summit Junto. We do that kind of idea with the franchisees where they all gather on Zoom and basically experience share best practice to learn from each other in small group interactions. Mm-hmm. that's been really, really successful too.
Yeah, I mean, we do some of that same stuff. My son was an EO, and he's a YPO nowadays. I've been in YPO for about 19 years now, I guess. And the experience share of other people that are going through similar leadership challenges, right, in business, really makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It really does. I was part of EO for, I think, 7 years during those foundational years of growth. And I'm so thankful. I don't think I would be as successful as I am without that group. Truly, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then you can keep doing more. I mean, I'm in YPO Gold now, so it's over 50, right? And then
I didn't know they had it for us elders.
For us elders, not you. But yeah,
I'm 51. I'm aged out of it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, YPO Gold is, and we have a couple chapters in the Chicagoland area, one in Florida where I'm at right now, and it's awesome. And it's you're just at a different stage in your business life, probably, and family life, and it's awesome to be on a monthly basis to be there with people you trust, right? And I recommend this to everybody. Even if you're not an EO, YPO, find great friends, great people that are potentially going through similar issues in business and similar challenges that you trust, that will look out for you and you'll look out for them, right? And it's amazing the results that can happen, right?
That aren't a part of your business or your family.
Yes, absolutely.
Or your close friendship group. Yeah. It is so important that has been the key to my success, is surrounding myself with my own little board of directors, if you will.
Yes.
That are not tied to anything you're doing and can really see you as an individual. It's pretty amazing to have that kind of support.
Yeah, and you know what? And you end up being friends with most of the people on that advisory board. But you're right; if they're not attached to those things, your family life, your business life, and they can just answer questions totally honestly, right? Not sugarcoating anything, right? Yeah. Ask them to be brutally honest. Yeah, you could be brutally honest, right? And that's how good things happen. Yeah, no, I have a lot of fun with that, and it's cool that you're doing that now within your franchisees, which is awesome. Now, what about the customers? What about the customers? Do they have some type of voice to say, "Gosh, can you ever think of this? You ever think of that?" I mean, do you guys interact with them a lot, and how each franchisee does that, or how does that go?
Yeah, a lot of that is socialized right in the studio, getting feedback, adjusting, and then the franchisees will bring that feedback to us. Or we have 6 studios where it's basically our petri dish it's our lab for the rest of the company. We recently launched B3 Cardio, B3 Strength, based on, such an energized kind of reaction from our client base on our digital platform. So we have a digital online platform that reaches people in 140 countries. They've subscribed to our online workouts. Wow. A very successful part of our business. That is an amazing way to pilot things, to do all our R&D on, and to gather data and user data, like how often they're using it, but also the comment board is really engaged. So we can ask anything, and we'll get lots of people at home commenting, because people who work out at home really, really love that board and being able to contribute to, our evolution and innovations.
I like that. So you can pilot over that. Or there's 140 countries you said you're in? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah. And we launched B3 Cardio and B3 Strength online, thinking we were just going to do it online, and it was such a success. And it's basically like a pulled out version of what we do in our barre3 signature class, just a 30-minute version versus having it kind of cut up throughout the class. It was so successful there, we decided to pilot it in our studios. That was so successful that we are now launching it company-wide.
Awesome. And does that also give you that your more name recognition globally and everything else, so that, if people want to start in other marketplaces, they know who you are, right? They've had the relationship online with you, and then they probably dig and look into what you guys do physically in your stores. Yeah, probably up the eyes to more people to be franchisees, right?
Certainly, it's a great way to seed our franchise market. Yeah, and we are a franchisor first and foremost. My husband and I have what we call our guiding principles, which is the things like we won't budge from. with the team. And we built these guiding principles so we can empower our leadership team to run our company. We're not actively running the company day to day anymore. And one of those guiding principles is around managing our energy. And everybody agrees around the table that first and foremost, when you're prioritizing your energy, to prioritize our franchisees and our studio business, and specifically how well we're teaching our barre3 signature class, because that is the foundation of our company. Getting distracted would hurt us, and it's easy to do. But once we're doing that really well, which we are, and then we build from there. Then we continue to build our online platform.
Mm-hmm. What's the signature class?
That's the barre3 class, and it's 60 minutes, 60 or 45 minutes. It's very beat driven. Music is really important to us, and we combine strength, cardio, and mindfulness. And I would say what really I like the best about the barre3 signature class and our philosophy in general is our way of teaching a class with seamless transition. So every single second counts. Highly efficient, very challenging, but we manage to help clients modify. So they don't have to do everything like everybody else. So for example, I have arthritis flare up right now. I can't do plank on the floor. I've been doing plank at the ballet bar. That's, a way of standing up for myself and what I'm feeling in my body. We do that throughout the entire class for the most common kind of aches and pains in the body. Okay. And it's a sustainable practice that you can do 5 times a week without injury.
Right. So if you said, if you looked at the industry, you looked at the old place you used to work, and I've seen those all over the place at 24-hour fitnesses and all the different ones that are out there. What purely differentiates you? If a customer says, or a franchisee says, how are they any different than, these guys, or this company, that group, or this group? What are your strongest differentiators that you have today that, and maybe that will keep you differentiated tomorrow?
Every single person who is a stakeholder at barre3, again, from a deep cleaner to the play lounge gals that take care of babies to our instructors and our owners, are committed to redefining what success in fitness means, to helping people build a positive relationship with their body through fitness, versus fighting their body to a finish line, an imagined ideal in the future. That philosophy is our glue. And it's the thing I'm most proud of, because it truly is every single stakeholder at barre3. You will not ever hear things like, we're working out to get ready for bikini season, so you look hot for date night. Like, you won't ever hear us saying that, because there's a shame story in that. And every person who is a part of barre3, they've changed their body and their mindset so much so that they want to be a part of what we're doing. So they're coming from a very personal place versus kind of a corporate place where they were trained to do that. It's very honest. And we've figured out how to do that honest thing at scale, which, is a movement. It's not really fitness. It's a movement. And
you're talking about very kind of variable training for that one person may draw energy from one type of training, another a different type of training. But instead of the old days where no pain, no gain, and it's 10 more reps, get them done, and you're not going home. I mean, yeah. I was actually a bodybuilder as a young guy from the time I was 17 to 22 or something like that, right? And I had fun with it, but it was pretty crazy, and a lot of yelling and screaming and all that kind of stuff. It's probably not the best energy in the world, right? But so you're saying that you individually you guys figure out what creates energy for the person or group of people you're training, right?
Yeah. There's longevity in it. Because when you see yourself in fitness and it feels like something that's inherently who you already are versus pushing yourself, you want to come back for more. It feels good. We hear from clients a lot that we're sophisticated and highly challenging, both. And the sophistication is you're not patronizing. Mm-hmm. I believe you. I trust you. I feel cool in this class, not kind of like manipulated. And the results are important to us. Everybody wants to move forward. I'm a high performer. Most of the people that enter my studio are too. We care about results. How we get there is different.
And some people, there's some people that demand bigger results of themselves than others, right? I mean, and
yes.
It's what for you. It's finding the sweet spot that makes them feel good, happy, feel good, and hopefully produce great health, right?
Yeah. For the long term. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow, that's really cool stuff. I mean, I love what you guys are doing. I can't wait to see some of your store. So okay, so are there any I'm in Southwest Florida, and I'm down by Naples and to Fort Myers, all that area, and then I'm in Chicagoland area, northwest suburbs of Chicago. Do you have any stores in these areas?
We have yes, we do.
Where?
I'm trying to think in Florida what would be near you. I don't know Florida very well. I mean, again, I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
But we do have some studios in Florida. We do have some in Chicago area, like West Loop. I forget, but we do. We have several in both markets.
Awesome. Well, I'll look them up and see what you got. I want to go visit them. I try to work out 3-4 days a week at least. Maybe when I'm doing well, 5 or 6 days a week. But I'm a little bit like your mentality, right? I do it because I want to, because I have fun doing it, and I'm not going to kill myself doing it. I want to stay in good shape, but I'm not. If other things pop up,
definitely check us out online. Because there's so much diversity online. We have a lot of male instructors, for example, and our strength program is really popular right now. It's slow, controlled movement with heavier weights, and really thoughtful. I always recommend everybody try things online. And then the studio, nothing beats it. I mean, the energy and the connection and the music, all that.
How big is it? How big is the average studio? I mean, the square footage wise, is it
about 2,000 square feet?
Yeah. And do you have if somebody's looking to franchise and it wants to be a franchisee, what type of revenues average or anything like that a person can generate and a profit they can look at, or kind of average or no?
You can go to our website to find more information, but as a franchisor, legally, we're not allowed to give numbers like that, but we have spreadsheets that you can fill out with like a model so you can understand, quickly how much money you can potentially make. And we walk you through all of that if you're interested. The first step is to go to our website, and we have a, clear place, to check out what it's like to own one of our studios.
Give us that website.
It's barre3, BARRE 3.com.
That's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Right now, when you look at the where you're at today and where you and Chris want to go, what's kind of a wild crazy goal that you guys want to hit? For in the next, let's say 5 years, 10 years. How many stores do you want to have?
Well, number one, I would just say wild and crazy goal. Like, I didn't have this, but in retrospect, I am so proud of how well we did through COVID. We had to shut all our studios, obviously. And we actually grew in units during COVID. It's a real testament to our culture and our product that we were as resilient. We were at 156 locations in 2019. We're now at 170. My industry average, the comparison, 30% of boutique fitness, my competitors closed permanently.
Wow.
So I am so optimistic for the future because we survived that. It was the ultimate test of our vision, mission, values, our core values, our guiding principles, all this stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultimate test of that. And the fact that we franchised and these women own those locations and fought so hard to keep it strong and won, I just think I feel bulletproof. And
And you made one of the toughest economic challenges of our time, right? And you guys survived it, right?
You survived it. I mean, they're so amazing. My team is so epic, So our goals, Chris and I never have a number. We don't get attached to a number in the future. But we have what we call rocks, which are the 3 things that we focus on each year. We only focus on 3. And there are 3 things that move us out of the ordinary into more extraordinary. And one of them is higher growth in the franchise model. So looking at new ways to grow our footprint. One thing we're highly interested in is bar concepts who are struggling, who want to join our family and flip to barre3. That is one thing I'm really passionate about, helping business owners who just need the kind of support we have with our infrastructure. So an acquisition strategy is something we're actively pursuing, which is new. We've never done that before, but I certainly have done that 24 Hour Fitness. And then focusing on our digital product, so it really enhances the studio client experience versus just the people who want to work out at home versus in studio. We want to create a product that enhances the studio client experience. So for example, content around getting a good night's rest, getting sleep, nutrition, things that, kind of enhance. So that's another thing we're really focused on in terms of growth, is a real omni-channel kind of product.
Sleep is so underrated, isn't it, by so many, including myself?
It is.
It's amazing how much more energy.
It is number one focus in my household. But for my teens, my husband, myself, that is the number one thing I focus on is sleep, because it is absolutely foundational to everything else.
What's your general sleep that amount of sleep, good sleep that you recommend?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's so different, but if everyone could get 8 hours of sleep a night, it'd be phenomenal.
All right, yeah,
that's what the science says, right? But I know I do like the Oura Ring and that kind of thing to just monitor my own sleep. I think more importantly, it's a discovery of self, and really tracking those days you feel groggy or grumpy, or digestion is off, or more pain and inflammation in the body, just kind of noticing how that relates to how much sleep you got.
Sure.
Or what interrupts your sleep, like drinking wine right before bed, or all the things we all have.
Before bed, yeah, coffee before you go to bed sometimes. Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Right.
Awesome. Okay, so we want to get to Chris here. Chris, do you have any questions? And Chris, I know has jotted down a bunch of nuggets that he liked in this podcast as well as I have. Chris, any questions for our all-star here?
Yeah, definitely. Sadie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. That was super inspiring. I'm always curious why our guests choose franchising as a growth strategy. Could you delve into that and share your perspective there?
Yeah, number one is I wanted my investors, I still do, I wanted my investors to be people with as much passion around our vision, mission, and values as I have, and to actually evolve the company in the real way with me. So my investors are my franchisees. We have no outside capital to date. We've pulled in no institutional money. We've gone on cash flow for 15 years. My investors are, the people who buy into barre3 and open up their own studios. So, and again, I think that's why we were so successful during COVID. If we had owned all these studios and went out and got a big private equity, run, I don't think we would have survived. I at least 30% of our studios probably would have closed.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. I love that you're looking at your franchisees as investors.
Absolutely, they're my business partners. Yep, each and every. Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to look at it. How do you determine if a potential franchisee is the right fit?
Combination, business skills, understanding of leadership for sure important, an authentic understanding of barre3 and a resonance with our core values is foundational and a must. And a real understanding and desire to make it happen, like to really drive their business every day, each and every day. It is can be a lovely lifestyle to own a studio, and it's a lot of work. And so finding that spark and that drive, chemistry, we do a lot of this kind of the backdrop stuff to weed out the real hot leads, and then getting around the table is kind of the final like gut check if this is going to work or not. And some of that is chemistry, just making sure that, you know, these owners are going to be really happy with our team and you know, for the long haul. And so far that's worked really well. We have owners, our franchisees re-sign multiple times. We've seen that over the years. And then our resale is really strong as well. Franchisees who decide they want to make a lifestyle change and leave, they have such a rich community of clients asking to, you know, be a part of barre3 that, you know, that's been really successfper for us too. It really is important to do it upstream.
Do you sell multiple? Will you sell 3, 4, 5 franchises, or just one per franchisee?
We are almost predominantly owner operated with one studio, sometimes two. On occasion, more markets, but that's not the norm for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know with kind of marketing your franchise business, there's lots of rules and regulations. You can't say specific numbers like how much money you'll expect to make that first, second, third year, whatever. Do you have any specific strategies for separating yourself from other franchises that your franchisees may be looking at?
I think it's the separation is in the product and the value of the product, and in the owner's belief that what we offer is going to be competitive in their market, and it almost always is. My competitors tend to be more traditional fitness. We're so specific. Our niche is so specific that the differentiation is pretty clear from the beginning.
Awesome. All right. And my final question. I love your emphasis on empowering, you know, women owners here. You said earlier every studio owner is a woman. That's incredible. I don't think we had a guest on who could say that. We've had a lot of really amazing guests on. So how can we help more women to become successful entrepreneurs?
Number one is, I think, thinking about our young girls as they're, you know, being brought up into the world, exposing them. You know, you can't be it till you see it. I love that, you know, that statement, like exposing young girls and young women to other women who are doing amazing things in the world is hugely important. I think all genders are responsible for the young women and the women of the future. It's not just a women's only movement. We're all responsible for raising empowered, strong, confident women. And I think more is more, you know, and highlighting, like, you know, being conscious about who's on your stage. If you're hosting a panel, always have a woman on the stage with you, you know. For that matter, diversity is important. Have someone of color on the stage. Again, you can't be it till you see it. Like, it's so important to be conscious about representing, you know, all different facets. We were talking about YPO earlier. Candidly, in 2008, 9, 10, I didn't want to join YPO because there were hardly any women in part of it. And it was really important to me to be around other women. Ironically, now, 15 years later, I work in a company of all women. My forum right now is all men, and it's really refreshing. I need that balance. But when I was starting out, I really needed like badass, really successful women, because my problems were unique to that, like being a mom, being a woman, like having guilt that I wasn't at home with my kids, you know. Some of those struggles are super real, and you know, having a support system around it and not kind of dismissing that, you know, is huge.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering this question. That was great. Now I'll share my nuggets of wisdom that I pulled from this incredible interview. If you're passionate about your business idea, pursue it even if it's during the height of the recession. Exercise to be honest and present in your body. I'll definitely bring that to the gym later today. Want your customers to come back every day, unlike some other business models. Scratch your own itch for business success. We've heard that a lot. Transition points are the best times to learn about yourself. That's, that completely reframes a lot of major life issues and struggles. The between moments sometimes matter more than even your core service. So, saying hello to customers and holding their baby, like you said, to make a bigger impact than your core service. And finally, getting advice from folks who are not friends or family is key to success. Where can our audience find out more about you and barre3?
Thank you. Well, again, barre3.com, barre3.com, and then social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, probably on, I don't know, is it Twitter anymore? It's something else now. Threads. Yeah. We're on all the things. I've got great social media people, and I have my own social media too. Sadie Lincoln. Instagram is usually where I hang out, and I love hearing from people.
Sadie, I love so much about this podcast and the things you talk about. I mean, you and your husband have done an amazing job in a short period of time to grow something really special, and you're an example for so many that hey, you got something you're passionate about. You know a lot about it. You can do it all on your own, right? With you could have 20 stores of your own right now. You'd be pulling your hair out probably, right? Instead, you've got all these franchisees that continue to help you. Make barre3 better and better and better. I love the stronger together. I mean, I think that's what you do. That really describes who you are, what you do. When you think about the roundtabling and the forums that you've created after learning on your own, right, from the organization you've been part of, to do that within your own organization is really cool. We do this a little bit, but it makes me think I got to do it more. Because we've got some great leaders. We do get them together once in a while, but not near enough. And I think that's so important, to get these passionate leaders together on a consistent basis to learn and grow from each other, right, and their experiences. So really fun having you on. You're an awesome person. I'd love to meet Chris someday. Thanks for all you do to inspire others. If you ever get a chance to listen to more of our podcasts, there's, like I said, Shelly's son is a person. If you ever want to meet her, she's like a little sister to me, okay? One of the greatest franchisees I know in the world. Jimmy John is also a friend of mine. He was at my second podcast, another great franchisor, right? Yeah. And so yeah, if you run across any of our stories and you want to meet any, just call me directly and I'll get you on a call with them, because I think it's the same thing, right? As you're building this awesome franchise system, to meet others that have been there and done it before, I'm sure you're doing that is just awesome. It's an awesome experience, right? So
yeah, thank you. Noted. That's awesome.
So thank you so much for being here. Really, you're the example of the American dream. You and Chris are an example of amazing couple, amazing family. And I don't know Chris, but now that we know you, we know that he's got to be one strong character of a person. And thank you for who you are. So
thank you.
If you need anything from us ever, call me direct, call Chris or I direct anytime. And thank you so much for being a Ditch Digger CEO today. And until next time.